something.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Oh, can you? Okay, yeah, there it goes. It's working.
Looking for Aline. I'm trying to get people invited. I'm going to invite some of these people to come up if they're on.
Yeah, you can see your computer monitor though.
Can you see it?
Yeah, she's here. Is it just me and you?
Yeah, so far. There's Aline. Okay.
You're not gonna make more boxes for people to come up?
Uh, I'm trying to get her in here. Hang on just a second.
No worries. I'm gonna mute
Yeah.
for just a sec. I'll be right back.
I'm there.
Yeah, you're here.
Awesome.
Hey, how's
This
it
is my
going?
first. Good. This is
Oh,
a first for me, guys.
yeah. Hopefully we get some people in here listening. I hope so.
Yeah, we're supposed to send a link to Sally, so I'll just share this, okay?
Okay, that's great.
Sally.
I should share this on Facebook too, probably.
Yeah, she says she's just going to listen, but she'll be in the comments. So
Yeah.
I got all my papers printed off there, so you can see what I'm doing.
And I've still got the artist thing up there. It shows up, but didn't show my picture for some reason. Oh well. Hopefully people will
It's
get
good
it.
that we can see your screen. It's good that we can see your computer.
Yeah, I figured we would be able to. I still
Yeah,
got
it's awesome.
my vitamins in there, picture screen. I was trying to get everything off the desk. So they didn't see a bunch of vitamins, and because I keep all my vitamins there so I don't forget to take them.
Yeah.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, how's it going? I'm going to give it a few minutes and see if some more people come in here. We're going to be talking about human sacrifice in the Old Testament tonight. Instead of doing art tonight, we're doing something different. And
No, I think that's great.
yeah, I do too. I think it'll be a surprising thing for many people to see what is actually written in the Hebrew.
Mm-hmm. And what did you say again? Human sacrifice and
We're going to talk about that, and we're going to
in
touch a
the
little
Old
bit.
Testament? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then a little bit
Okay.
on the cannibalism aspect too.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Carrie
I'm just
Ann.
writing it down here.
It was nice talking with you, and I think that was your friend, the other guy, last night. It was great to have somebody that knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't.
I don't think a lot of people realize that this is actually even in there. You know it?
No, I know the way you break it down is just it's eye-opening.
Yeah. I've been listening to these people pouring over the Old Testament, reading it in the mornings, and I'm just like mortified. I'm like, if they really knew what that said, they would be freaking out, you know?
Exactly.
But I don't know how long I
I
should
just say
wait to get.
once they see it though, once you see it and you get a glimpse of it, you don't close your eyes to it. So
Right. And I understand now what Jesus meant by he was paying a ransom. He was paying for us. Because
hmm
everything to Yahweh had to do with the blood system, and payment was blood, you know.
yes.
We've got a few people. Maybe I should just start and see who all comes in to see what happens. What do y'all think?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. We're talking about human sacrifice in the Old Testament, and I made some slides. I hope y'all be able to see them on here because it's a lot easier with slides to see this.
hmm
We have the Passover, And everybody always just looks at that as like it was that nothing happened to the actual Hebrews themselves, that they were just delivered and they sacrificed a lamb, they ate it, and then they took off after that, you know. But there's a lot more to it in the Hebrew text than what people think. So we're going to be looking at that. Okay. The first set of verses we're going to look at is Exodus 12. And I'm just going to read some of this and I'll comment as I'm going along. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of the month thou shalt take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto the house take it according to the numbers of souls. Now that's an important word right there. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. So had to be enough that everybody could eat off this lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and he shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall unalive it in the evening. I hate changing scripture, but I don't want to get a strike where we can't come in here and talk. So I'm using unalive.
No worries.
Okay, and they shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts of the upper door post of the house, wherein they shall eat it. So this lamb is to be eaten. We're going to talk about what this lamb is. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, unleavened bread, and with bitter. And we have in English bitter herbs, but actually that word in Hebrew is bitterness. They're going to eat it with bitterness. They shall eat it. Eat not of it raw or sodden at all with water, but roast it on the fire, its head and legs, and the protuberance, which is the inner parts of the middle thereof. So the whole thing basically is going on the fire. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until morning. That which remains in the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus ye shall eat it. And he keeps saying, you're going to eat it, you're going to eat it, you're going to eat it. With your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, you shall eat it with haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both male, man, and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So he's talking about other gods even. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses wherein you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be for you a memorial, and you shall keep this feast to the Lord throughout all your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whoever eats leaven from the first day till the 7th day, that soul will be cut off from Israel. And in the first day, a holy convocation, and the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation. So there's 2 of those. To you, no manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. So they can only eat, and that's it. Then he continues, and you shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread, for in the selfsame day have I brought you armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in all your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month on the 14th day, and the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21 day of the month at even. 7 days there shall be no leaven in the congregation, For whosoever, I think I doubled that, didn't I? No, I
Doesn't look
didn't.
like it.
Okay. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your house. For whoever eateth that which is leaven, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So this involved everybody, not just the Israelites. Ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Ye shall eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, Draw out and take a lamb according to your families, and unalive the Passover. But what they don't tell you is that word for Passover is pishul, and the literary meaning, like the literal meaning of it, is a lame, crippled person. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood in the basin and strike it the lintel on the 2 sides of the post, and the blood that's in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of this house until morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when you see the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 sides, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in to your houses to smite you. So this is like a trade over. It's like the Paschal lamb is actually a human being sacrificed to keep them from all dying. It's crazy. And ye shall sacrifice this thing for an ordinance to thee and thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when you come into the land which the Lord hath given you, according as he has promised, that you shall keep this service. So this goes on for forever. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say to you, What mean ye of this service? And they shall say, It is a sacrifice to the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed their heads and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away, and they did as the Lord had commanded Aaron. So they did. Now, people are going to think I'm crazy when I'm saying that that this was humans, but I'm going to show you how I know that. Okay, and also I just wanted to note that the destroyer that passes over actually in Hebrew is a demon as a noun. So I've added that slide so you could see that. This is from Millen Hebrew Dictionary. It's like one of the top-notch dictionaries. Okay, also here, when we look at Strong's, the word for Pishkal, or Passover, is 6453, and it means permission or an exemption only technically of the Jewish Passover, specifically the victim or the offering. So it's actually an offering. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next slide. Here's the 2 words that they use. And the way they divide this stuff is like in the 7th and 9th centuries AD, which is like the second half of the first millennium, they added these niku, these little dot points, and they changed the whole Masoretic text. These words before that time had nothing. They were just plain, with none of these marks around them. They were the same identical word. So when it literally meant a lame, crippled person, that's what the original text said. It make you sick when you think about it.
Before those little changes were made to what do they call them, letters?
They called those niku vowel points. They said it was like the way they would delineate how the word sounded and what it meant. So they went back in and changed the text, is what they did, because they were not present until like 700. Somebody said it was like 700 or 800 AD when those were added. They mixed everything up by using those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's why Jeremiah wrote that, the lion pen of the scribes has made the law.
He was telling you a little bit of truth there.
Yeah, he was telling a lot of truth, really, in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really sad. But here we have the two words, and they broke it up into H6453 to mean the Passover festival, and it also mean the victim, though. So they're telling you right there, you know, even in their own Strong's books they wrote. But when you look down here, it's a lame person. And when I looked at Morphick's dictionary, which is like a famous, it's one of the big Hebrew dictionaries, literally crippled, lame person. That's pretty bad.
That's quite a switch.
From a festival to a crippled person.
Yeah.
And it was, since it was something they ate, and they ate it with bitterness, because the word herbs is not in there. It's like, to me, that tells me, yeah, it was a bitter thing, because they took one from each family. You know, each family had to have a. This is why when they say, well, there's no human sacrifice in the Old Testament, they're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
And this, you can go to Judges 11, and you'll see Japhet sacrifices his own daughter.
His own daughter, that's right. That's
to
right.
win a war with somebody so he can further advance himself. But yet they're still saying that this can't be. But I was pretty much in shock when I started studying Hebrew and started looking at this. Can y'all see the whole thing? I think you can, can't you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I might want to back it
See
up
it all
just a
right.
hair. It's going to be kind of iffy on here, but I wanted to have actually see the words are exactly the same, that I'm not making this up, you know, and that you can go look at the Masoretic text and the Neku, and it'll tell you when they were done online. That's not hidden. I mean, this is an actual thing that they did. Okay. Here I've show it here in the this is Bible Hub. But this is what I got when I did a mechanical, what I call mechanical is a literal translation, where I take the literal words and translate it from the Hebrew to the actual English. And it's kind of broken up, and he said he called Moses and the elders of Israel, and he said to them, "Pull and take of your multitude," is what that word actually meant, "from your families and slaughter the crippled, lame person." That's what if you put it in literal terms.
It's kind of like, can you hear me? It's kind of like the genocides today. We want to get rid of, or we don't want to, but they want us to get rid of anybody who has any issues. You can have MAID or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
And right here, if you look right there, it's like there's the word right there. This N means the, it's a prefix. The Pishkal is what that says. The crippled, lame person. It's so sad. It's sad that we have all not been told the truth.
Well, really, I mean, just even in the version that they understand Passover, it's still real messed up.
Oh yeah, very messed up. But this makes sense when you look at what Yahweh says in the rest of it, because he's like, he doesn't want any of the crippled or lame people to come up to his altar in his Holy of Holies.
Right.
To come near him. So this way he's getting rid of them every year. You know.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Making the families get rid of them.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about what's going on in the world, you can see how their minds could be working that way. Like, especially what we're going through today. You can definitely see how their minds were working back then. Yeah.
But I just want to sit down and cry when I see these Protestant people on here in the mornings reading this. They were reading Numbers 8 and all this stuff, and I was sitting there going, oh, if they only knew. And then I tried to tell them in chat, and immediately I muted. Because nobody wants to know it.
They're not going to listen to that.
They don't want to know the truth.
No.
But it's like when Jesus told us, said, no greater love than man have, and he laid down his life for his friend. He laid his life down for us, and he picked it back up so that we could get out of here. He paid what Yahweh wanted, which is everything he does, he wants a blood sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's no
And
way
that's
around that.
that's why the Christians and the Catholics just hyper focus on that part of it, and
I know.
now you got to be washed in the blood, and
That's all I ever hear about is the blood, blood, blood.
It'll make you
You know?
sick once you realize this when they start singing that washed in the blood and all this stuff.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
And Father's more about water, not blood.
Yep. Yep. And let's see. Oh, I didn't talk about this one yet. This was interesting to me too, because this word right here, take, that says one of the multitude, that word right there sounds like son in Hebrew. And when I took and just out for, y'all know how I am about languages and how I study so many that I flip them back and forth to see what they would mean if you put it in a different language. And guess what it come up to? It comes, in Greek, it comes to be the word John.
Oh.
But that's pronounced son, because the T is silent. That TZ is kind of like an S sound.
Wow.
Let's see. All right.
It
And
really
this,
messes up with the language, for sure.
Now here we go. Matthew 26:2. You know that after 2 days is the Passover, and it doesn't even say feast of in the Greek. And the Son of Man is betrayed to be unalived, or I don't know if I can say that word or not. But it's staros, and it's like, to be unalived with
Right.
with stakes or knives. But it's the same word they use. It's just spelled out in Greek, but it's the same word they use in the Old Testament for the same thing. It's crazy. But that's how they came about this human sacrifice. And oh, Daisy, you scared me to death. Garrett, come
She's
here.
getting excited.
Come here. Stop that. I gave her a chewy so she would leave us alone. I was hoping. Let's see.
My dog's passed out.
And this, I'm not going to go over that because that's something that I found that I wasn't sure if I wanted to even go there or not. But the also when I looked at the Greek, this word for land is a probaton. Okay, when I looked up a probaton, it means anything that walks forward. I thought that was interesting. And in Greek, in the Brenton's Septuagint, it reads, "And Moses called all the elders of the children of Israel and said to them, Go away and take to yourselves a probaton according to your kindreds, and slay the lame or crippled one." Would be what that would be. And see, he said that he was only came for the destroyed probata of the house of Israel. In other words, he was trying to stop this sacrificial system thing. And he calls us, when he's talking about us, as my sheep hear my voice and stuff like that. It's the same word as probata. And this is interesting. In number 7, when I was looking at the sacrificial stuff, it says 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. Well, 1 kid is 1 satyr. It's a he goat. It's actually a half human, half goat person. And
Your
that's what.
letter. They're asking if you have any new videos uploaded to YouTube. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No,
But
not right at the moment. I don't. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I'm working on some. And this live I will probably upload too, so people can watch it later if they want to. But the actual number 716 is actually a satyr. It says 1 satyr of the he goats for a sin offering. So they were actually doing the creatures here, and people don't realize how much that is in the Old Testament. It's like there's a whole lot more in there than what people realize. I mean,
For sure.
like Nathan and Eileen have seen my slides on the Satyr stuff. It's like it's all throughout the Old Testament.
Hmm.
And
And
here's the
Nathan saw some on the buildings.
yeah in
When he was
Eng.
in the
Yeah,
Tell them
UK.
over
about
in
that.
London.
Yeah, tell them
Yeah.
about
Yeah, I wish
that.
I had that picture.
That
Yeah,
was Westminster
that was
Cathedral, wasn't it?
Abbey. Yeah,
Abbey.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right near Big Ben. And that was the first thing I noticed was looking at all the saints up there, and I was like, what in the world? I was like that. Well, and on the front side of it though, the horns have been broke off their heads. But on the side of the building, the horns you could see they were still there.
Yeah.
So weird. And when you would go inside, just some of the imagery and stuff that's in there is just so it don't seem very inviting. It don't make me feel like father's in there, you know. It's not
Yeah.
nothing like that at all. I mean, the
I,
acoustics and all that is amazing, but just the scary imagery everywhere in there is really weirds you out.
Hmm.
I couldn't believe that those figures, because when I studied art, I never noticed that. I'm like, wow, they actually do have horns. It's like,
I mean, yeah, and how long have those been there? You know, how old is that cathedral?
oh, I know.
So
I was
it's
told that there was something else though, like as a child, like I was told that that was something, I can't even remember what it was, but the picture that they
well,
gave us back then is nowhere near what we're finding out
it's
of
like
what the gargoyles or whatever,
oh right.
you know.
But when they mention the he goats in the Old Testament, that's actually a satyrs. That's where those words are located at.
Yeah.
That's what I was showing here too. And it even says a he goat as a sacrificial animal. This is from Brown Driver Briggs, and that's a very known, reputable um, lexicon, for Hebrew. Yeah,
There's what was it you said, James? Because I remember at St. Paul's Cathedral they have him with the rod of iron.
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Almost
so
all over the place, it's James the Just that has the rod of iron.
right. I didn't know that then. I just looked at some of the things they're holding. Well, they tell you it means different things, but now when we've been looking at it deeper, you really know what it is.
Yep. This was the verses that she was reading this morning. Let's see, it's Numbers 8:14 through 20. Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. So he's saying right there that the Levites belong to him. And after that shall the Levites go and do the service at the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt cleanse them and offer them as an offering. I mean, it literally is saying offer them as an offering. For they are wholly given to me from among the children of Israel, instead of such as open every wound. So they're a replacement, he's saying in verse 16, for the children of Israel.
So
Uh,
are you saying that the Levites were like he kept the Levites for himself and he sacrificed them?
they were servants, but they were also being sacrificed too,
Wow.
as a
I always thought the
replacement.
Levites were the priests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They served him. They were serving in the temple, but they literally were becoming the offering. For they are wholly given to me among the children of Israel, instead of such as opens the womb, even instead of the firstborn of all the children of Israel, for I have taken them unto me. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself. So he took them for himself that day when he took them out of Egypt. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn children of Israel. And I never caught that when I was reading it before, but he's literally exchanging so that I guess the Israelites don't end up unalived.
Wow.
And I've given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children to do service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle and congregation, and to make atonement for the children of Israel. So he's saying they're both. They're going to be servants, and they're going to be the atonement for them. And there'll be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come nigh unto the sanctuary, because they'll have the perpetual thing with the firstborns of the Levites instead of the Israel. And Moses there and all the congregation of children of Israel did as the Levites did to the Levites according unto all the Lord had commanded Moses concerning the Levites. So did the children of Israel unto them. So that's kind of like the Japhet story. He said that he did exactly as he was told. It's the same kind of thing. And it took me a little bit to catch this, to really look at the wording and go, oh wow, he's exchanging them. It's not like they're just become priests, they're being in exchange for the others. Have y'all ever caught that before? I didn't.
No, this is all new
No.
to me. I'm actually just
Yeah.
learning, so I'm just listening
Me
to
too.
you.
I am too.
Well, I hope it's making sense.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, when I looked that up as an offering, that meant a sacrificial offering. And I was going to talk about wave, but I decided that might be too much to get into the wave offerings. But I hope that makes sense to everybody, what I've been showing. I don't know if we have people have questions or. I've never tried to do a live like this, but I just thought I'd try it and see how it went and see
Yeah, no, it's good.
if people enjoyed it or not.
Yeah, especially if you save it. There's going to be more people that'll see it probably off of here for a while until we get going.
Oh yeah, I can download it and then put it on YouTube.
Good idea. Did you go through all the slides already?
Yeah, that was
Wow,
pretty
you're
fast,
good.
wasn't it? That
Yeah,
was
we're gonna
pretty
have to-
fast.
We're gonna have to put you on slow motion. Yeah, no, that was good.
I
The
didn't.
whole thing of the sacrifices, being, coming from the Messianic, I had trouble with the Passover lamb, and
Just the whole
trying
idea of
to, yeah, I had a hard time with it. And then even with where it said, that we're not supposed to break the bones, and then here we are having a piece of lamb, like, you know what I mean? Like half of us didn't have the full lamb. We're having a piece of lamb. Like the whole thing was set up wrong. I don't know. I just thought it was wrong. Like you're eating. It's a sacrifice.
I still think there's a plenty of rabbis that know that this is the truth. They study all this. They read it for what it is. They have to know.
Yeah.
Somebody
I think they
said
do.
invite reconstructing. I don't think he's in here.
Why
What's
can't I
that?
see that? No, don't invite him.
Yeah, I don't see that either. Maybe it's because we're not friends with him. I don't know. Or like we don't, or maybe we're blocked from him. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't see him in here though.
Who
No.
said who said it? Gosh, I can't. Maybe I should back out. I'll try to, or I'll just close it, Joe. I can't see it.
What did they say, Goldie?
It looked like they were saying invite reconstructing Christianity to join the live as a guest, or maybe he was in there and it just is
I
popping up
see.
to invite people up. Maybe that's what it is. I'm
Yeah, I
new
think
to
so.
this, so I'm not used to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it would be interesting to hear, what some people have to say about uh, this being totally different, a total different concept to what they're thinking of sacrifice.
yeah,
Did you say that Babs got banned, or she got
yeah, she'll be
what?
back tomorrow, I think. She got banned until the 21st.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Somebody
okay.
was being real rude to her, and it was late, late. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. She was getting really tired, and she snapped and called them
Oh, got
something, and they
got the
reported her.
best of her. Oh gosh.
They reported her,
Yeah.
and
Oh no.
they banned her for 3 days. They put her on restriction for 3 days.
Yeah, but then I think they're watching you after things like that happen.
I know. That's the sad part.
Oh, well, that's sad. I would have liked to talk to her again. I seen I
She'll
sent
probably
an
be
invite.
back. She'll probably be back as soon as this is.
Yeah. Carrie Ann, do you have any questions? I see you're hanging in.
We should have let her come up here and just talk.
Yeah, I was going to say she could just come up and talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite her up. Sally's there.
Yeah.
I can't see anything in the chat, unfortunately. I may, if
Oh,
I
really?
don't see it. Yeah, something messed up with my phone, I think. I may have to back out and come back, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't know how long this would take me to even go through this, but that went pretty
Oh, there's
fast.
Sally.
Hey, Sally.
Sally came up.
Oh, no worries,
Oh,
Carrie.
Carrie Ann's driving. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have anything to add.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Are you busy?
I've been very busy with work for the last couple weeks, so right now I'm sitting
Yeah.
down on the couch, so I decided to join the live. I've been listening.
Oh, good. Did you hear? What did you think, or did you already know that?
What did I think of what?
Sacrifices. The sacrifices.
Yeah, I think Golan, you touched on that before. I think, when I first joined Discord, I think that there was some conversation about it, so it wasn't that surprising. I mean, and if you think about, what does Yahweh require? He requires sacrifice, like you guys had mentioned already. He wants that blood sacrifice, and it just ties into like what's going on today.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise to me that the sacrifice has gone on all through our existence, right? Starting back in biblical days, and it's continuing on today.
Yeah. If your eyes aren't open to some of the other things that are going on, then you don't see this either, right?
Right. Exactly.
Can y'all hear me? I had a little bit of an echo. I was
Sally,
Yeah, we do. But why
when
do
you're
we?
not
Why do we get
talking,
the
you
echo?
just mute yourself, Sally, when you're not.
Oh, how do I do that?
So click your square.
Just click on your picture, and then click the microphone.
There you go.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out because I didn't have an echo, and then all of a sudden I was hearing an echo, and I was like, I didn't know if it was me or something I did or.
If I talk on my phone, it does it pretty bad. That's why I have to use the headset.
Yeah, I've got headsets on. I was trying to avoid that happening.
I have a headset on too.
Is there anything else y'all want to talk about tonight while we've got everybody here? That's pretty good,
Yeah. Come on, Nathan, you might have something.
Normally I do. I was so talkative last night. I stayed up till almost
Yeah.
2 in the morning with that group. Because I just
What were
anybody
you What were
that's
you guys talking about there? I can't remember.
well, those two people they kind of knew what we were talking about, but they didn't know everything, so they were really interested, and so that was what was making me want to stay up and keep talking to them because they knew a little bit. They knew the two Jesuses, and when we started to we were explaining the Christ part, and it was kind of difficult because we had that other guy, the cube guy. He was just interjecting and just constantly talking over and just being rude, and so it was hard to kind of tell them everything because you would get a couple little points out. They're really interested. They're trying to follow along, and then you're arguing with somebody. So it was trying to have
Yeah.
like a conversation with two people, but really I didn't care to talk with him that much. I just wanted to get the new person to get it. Because if they're already
Yeah.
there, the two Jesuses, and they've already figured out Yahweh, they're trying to make the rest of it make sense. So you're really just filling in the blanks for them,
True.
which is what it seemed like with that guy. I wish I got to talk to him more, but I just got so burnt out, and I was like, okay, it's past 1 a.m. I probably should go to bed.
I was surprised that you guys were up that late.
Yeah, it
Well, normally I
deteriorated.
wouldn't be
It deteriorated even worse after that. It was
after
Yeah,
I
like
that's what you
left.
said.
it was crazy. I mean, I even got angry, and I don't usually get angry.
Yeah, I know. That's why I dipped out.
But he said he
Do you
didn't say we
remember?
couldn't get
Oops.
angry. He just said don't get angry without a cause. You
Yeah.
know.
Right.
But
What, can
it's
you
getting
remember what you were angry about?
just
Oh,
the
this
guy.
guy, he would just infuriate you if you
He
were
was
sitting
all
here.
over me, man. He was bullying me, and he was trying to say that I was trying to claim that I was being sent by a father, and I never said nothing
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right.
I'm
That's
like,
right.
He
what the
just he just
heck?
started to say just wild things to try to discredit her, I think, and I'm like nobody
Yeah.
said that here. Like, cut it out.
Yeah, he was bringing up any and everything about me he could,
Yeah.
and
It's
most
like,
of it was
we all,
lies.
none of us have a problem with having different opinions and listening to someone's opinion and, different views. It's when they're belligerent and calling you names and, you know, we don't have to go that
Yeah.
avenue.
Oh well, you're gonna see that on TikTok.
Oh, I have. I had a headache one day when Galana and I were on one, and it was like I was literally getting a sore head. It was that bad.
Yeah.
There's way too much arguing on these lives on TikTok, just like for everybody to be believers. But I think that's because a lot of them are still in that, they're still entrenched in the Old Testament and that warrior attitude, you know.
Hmm. I do still like wonder why people can't see, and maybe you guys are getting sick of hearing this, but the character, like, I mean, when you're reading the Old Testament, the character of the Old Testament God does not even align at all to the Father, and they can't see it. Like,
I
I mean, my
think
husband and I, as a child, I was reading it, and it didn't make sense to me that he would go back and forth like that. Paul,
Oh,
who's never been into anything, it didn't make
I
sense to him either.
I have something actually that I found the other night, and I sent it to going on. It was in First Corinthians, and I can't remember which verses it is now, but I sent it to her the other day, and it's definitely where Paul is connecting the Christ with Yahweh. Like, he's showing you. I'm trying to find. Do you have it going on, that verse I sent you?
I know I kept it. I'm trying to.
I can look it up real quick if you want.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and look it up because I
Just
don't know
give
what
me
I
a sec,
did
because
with
I
it.
have to get. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to drop his screen for a second to
Yeah,
look it up. It pauses you
yeah,
when
he's
you
not
do
set
that.
up.
That was
Yeah,
wild though.
you're.
Yeah, he brought up a thing in First Corinthians I had never even realized was there, and it literally ties the two together. It was wild.
Right. Yeah.
But I think if they
I don't know.
understood about the parable thing, that a lot more people would see the comparisons, you know, But the
Yes,
way they
yeah.
made everybody believe that parable is some kind of mystical thing that nobody can understand has really messed things up, because um, parable just literally meant compare. It was from the Latin word parabola. And there was a Hispanic guy in the live last night, and the guy
Oh,
was
right,
started
right.
talking to him in Spanish, and then it was like he understood what it meant. Then it was
Yeah,
like
Okay.
yeah.
it was cool. It was
I
pretty
forgot about
cool.
that.
Yeah. Did you find it?
I
Did you
did.
find?
It's First Corinthians chapter 10. It's verses 8, 9, 10, and 11. But I can't read it. I can't look at the picture while I just had to look it up like that. Because if I close this, I can't speak and read it at the same time.
Okay, tell me again. I'll read it. Let's see.
First Corinthians is chapter 10.
Chapter 10. Okay,
And it's
and
verses 8, 9, 10, and 11, I think.
okay. Let me get off Greek here, because I don't think I want to listen to Greek. Um, yeah, this is Paul talking, and he said, "Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed by serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer." See, so he's actually tying um, the Christ to what
With the
happened,
destroyer, yeah,
yeah,
with Yahweh.
in the wilderness.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had never noticed that before.
Because, he's always, where he's making that comparison, what kind of loving father would do this and this. But now you have Paul later saying, oh, no, see, it was the Christ. We don't want to do the same things with the
Yeah,
Christ
what
because
father
this
would
might happen.
give you a serpent when you ask for a fish? And every time that Jesus says, "I tell you a parable," he's actually saying, compare this, compare this.
Yeah,
But people don't know that.
yeah. And that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That guy was getting mad at us last night for even saying that. And we were like, parables means comparison. He's like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is
Well,
put parable
again,
and etymology and look it up, and it pops right up.
yeah. They just believe whatever they're told.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they hear things that are just alien to their minds, they just think you're making things up or you're just trying to. I
They're
don't know. It's
afraid
like, wow,
too.
what kind of time do they think people have to just be making things up and trolling and just, you
Yeah.
know?
I think it was
I'm like,
John that
I don't
said
got
that.
time to do that.
Wasn't it John that said that he spoke not except in parables too? Everything he said was a parable. There's a verse about that.
Everything Jesus said was a parable?
Yeah, he said he spoke not
Yeah.
except in parables.
Yeah.
So he was telling them parables. So, like when he said, "I tell you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I tell you it's not so," he was
Hmm.
literally, no, that's not right. There's so much in there.
Yeah.
Like Moses meeting Yahweh at the thorn bush, and he said a thorn bush can't produce good fruit. Of course, you miss that if you're not reading the Old Testament in Hebrew, too. That's another thing. Because it's a burning thorn bush. It's not just any old bush. It literally says it's a thorn bush.
Yeah. You said the other day, because we were talking about the original land being in Italy, and we got talking about how the Hebrew people think that all the 12 tribes were black people,
Yeah.
and maybe they were. Like, we don't know. Um,
There was a huge mix of people in Italy in the first century. Um, and that's another thing that, like the Nabateans they talk about in the Old Testament. There's an area just south of Naples that was the Nabateans lived there. There were a bunch of Arabs living in the Haran, which is up around the Po River in northern Italy, and then there were more Arabs down in Sicily. So there was a lot of different type of people all over that area than what you originally think of, because you just think Romans had it,
Yeah.
the way
So
we were taught.
How did Africa come into this? Like everybody's the Hebrew, the Black Hebrews are like
They
saying
were
that everybody
tight with
started in
Africa,
that.
very much so. Like Cleopatra was married to Mark Antony.
Okay.
It's like they had great relations with the Egyptians. Because it's not that far to sail from the south tip of Italy to Egypt, back and forth.
Okay. All right. This is going to be a dumb question because I'm really not a geography person, but is Egypt in Africa?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's at
I
the
know it
top of the
sounds dumb,
Nile
but
Nile River,
Mm-hmm.
right on the
yeah.
northern edge there. And I think that when they came across to Sicily because there's an island named Moshe, and
Right.
they found all these little figurines that look like an old man with a beard, and he's got a snake serpent staff, and and they literally found a bunch of um, graves, like mass graves of human sacrifice there too,
Yeah.
of children, infants, and
Well, your geography of scripture makes more sense to me now, knowing that. Like, I don't know why I didn't get that Egypt was in Africa, but
and Mount Etna is named as the mountain in Psalms that was Yahweh's mountain, and it is covered in thorns. Like,
Just like it describes.
yeah, just like it describes in the Old Testament. And it's the only volcano that we know of in the world that has stayed active continuously and never gone dormant.
right. Well, I'm doing the slides there and going through your geography of scripture, and I'm seeing all the stuff, and I get it. I'm bad with geography, and I didn't. I don't know. I
And
did not know
Stromboli,
that.
the volcano Stromboli that's out on the edge of the off of Naples, was called the lighthouse of the Mediterranean back in first century because it looks like a pillar of fire at night and plumes of smoke in the daytime.
Hmm.
Now, now where did they get the pillar of fire from? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
they named Rome as is Edom in Hebrew. It's the same word, and just Moses split the rock just south of Rome. Well, there is a mountain called Split Mountain just south of Rome. And it's got a handprint where the rock is split. There's a handprint into the rock. Like it looked like something supernatural just stuck their hand into the rock. And it
Wow.
has a huge water coming from the top of the split that goes down into this blue, beautiful pool looking thing. And it has the most
Yeah.
unusual water in the world from what they say. So I'm pretty sure that's the actual mountain. There's just so much proof. It's unreal. You've got Pompeii, and it's got carvings on there of Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, Gomorrah means submerged. There were two cities. Well, there is actually a city that is submerged off the coast outside of Pompeii under the water. They found it,
Wow.
and it's just as intricate as the one in Pompeii. It's got all the mosaics and stuff. And Pompeii's covered in biblical frescoes. It's got Solomon's Last Judgment, where Solomon is handed the baby, and that scene. It's got um, the Garden of Eden with the snake, the serpent, and the tree, and the fruit. It has, let's see, what else? There's all kinds of cherubims. There's a bunch of Stars of David's, like just massive amount of those. And also like there's a food shop where they went in to eat, and it literally says kosher in Greek on the floor. When you go in, it's in the
Yeah.
it's in the mosaic, and it's
Wow.
like you just can't make all that up. It has to be the right location.
I still believe that they just took the focus, took the risk of a war or whatever being struck on Rome away from Rome by putting it into a different country, by putting it over into Jerusalem, Israel, you know.
That could be true because when you look at the Vatican, you've got a Kabbalah altar for Peter's altar, and
Hmm.
they dress with the little cap on just like we see, and even the priests in first century on the reliefs have the long side locks like the
Yeah.
priests do today, and they had the red heifer on the reliefs from first century, and that arch thing cannot be. I don't think that is a victory thing. I think that is like a parade going to the temple because it's on the road called Sacred Way, goes straight up to the main temple, which would have been Yahweh's temple because Jupiter is the same word for Yahweh. It's even pronounced Yahweh.
Yeah. And then you know all about how, all the food and all the trees like are from Italy, like the olives and the grapes and the honey and
Yeah,
the
they
land
say
of
the
honey.
land
Yeah.
flowing with milk and honey in the middle
Yep.
of the desert where there ain't nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the most sought
you
after
know,
honey in the world is in Italy, too.
Yeah, and their
yeah,
dairy
exactly.
products are obviously they're known
And
for that. Their
Yahweh
cheeses
said
and
in the last days he would make it all desolate. And it's like there are about 15,000 villages that are empty, ghost towns. They're begging
Wow.
people
yeah,
to come. They're selling houses for
they'll pay you to
$5.
move there.
Yeah, they'll pay you to move there, basically. And it
To
said
Italy.
5 cities would
Oh,
speak the Hebrew language, and there are 5 cities that speak where they actively speak the Hebrew language there. And that pillar, the Asherah pillar, is right there in front of the Vatican. It all fits.
Yeah. Yeah, even the straits, right? Like the two straits you were
Yeah,
talking
the
about?
double straights.
Double straits,
Because
yeah.
Mitzrayim means narrow body of water with double straits, and there's 2 straits right on the tail end of the country.
Yeah.
which I mean, there's no body. Well, there's no water anywhere that could be possible. Straits in the other place, so I don't know how they even
There is no
get
other
people to
place,
the.
I don't think, in the world that has double straits like that.
Yeah, now that I was thinking about
Yeah.
it.
And like the word for the where they were going to stir up the water, and the guy wanted somebody to help him get in the pool, but yet nobody would help him. The sheep gate place that has the 5 porches in the New Testament. The word in Greek is probatica, and the B and the V are interchangeable when you're talking about Latin words, especially when it
Right.
comes to sounds. But they literally a lot of times will flip it, and there'll be a V. What pro means in front of, and Batica would be Vatica, and the Vatica was right there on the Tiber River where there was a healing temple where fresh water flowed right around. It was on an island. So I have a feeling that's right where they were. Then I found where John was baptizing. The ford is just south of that. So all that stuff is locatable by just looking at the Greek in the New Testament. And I hadn't even put a
Yeah.
video out on that yet, but
The
that's going
the
to be in
Greek in the New
this
Testament?
the Greek, like the Probatica. I haven't done that yet, but there was actually a
Okay.
temple on that island that had 5 porches, exactly like John describes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was I can't pronounce his name, but it's the deity that was there was the one with the medical rod, and It was actually a healing temple.
Hmm.
People are going to freak when this will eventually, it'll all get out eventually. And when it does, people are going to be freaking out.
I think so.
I just have a feeling it's gonna explode at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to come out eventually. There's
It,
the, I mean, think about it though. Even 4 years ago, when we were starting to talk about this, I mean, you could not talk to anyone, and now you can just join a TikTok live, and two people are like, "I know what you're talking about." That's wild to me.
yeah, that
That there's
was, wasn't
people
it?
around the world that, yeah, are getting it. Yeah, because like I've never met some of these people, and they understand. So it's not like I showed this person this and this, and then now they think this. They're finding it on their own.
Hmm.
It's even like you
It's
Paulina,
exci- it's ex-
she saw her videos, but it's like, yeah, that's out there, but it wasn't like she had anybody to explain or tell her.
right. It's exciting too because it's like he said that he would open his mouth and we would realize stuff that had been hidden since the foundation of the world. And we really have.
Yeah, this is,
And it's like once you hear it though, it just like it sounds. It's true. You can hear truth.
yeah, there's
Do you know
something
what I mean? Like
about
you're
it when you
not
hear it. Oh yeah.
something about it that you just you just hear it.
Well, that verse where he says you're of your father, um, the devil, and he was an unaliver and a liar from the beginning. Well, if you were reading that in Greek, it'd make a lot of sense because it says from the Genesis.
Hmm.
And you would tie
Right.
those two
Right.
together real well. And then when he's talking about the trees, he's saying you can't have a tree that has good fruit and bad fruit. So how did we have a tree that had knowledge of good and evil in it?
Exactly.
It's like everything out of his mouth, you just compare, compare, compare. And once you start
Yeah.
doing those comparisons, it all falls into place and you can see it. And
Yeah.
well, we've talked about you can't unsee it once you've seen it.
That's it.
But the Father in heaven, he loves everybody. He's not full of wrath. He's not coming down here to
No,
unalive
that's what I
everybody
said.
and
Bring the sword
No, I see the parable
and
of
the
the
plagues.
prodigal son. He's just going to open his arms. It's like your own children. You don't wish wrath on them when they do
no,
something wrong. You hope that they learn from their lesson and come back, and that they're still alive.
right.
And then you welcome them back in. You know, so
There's just so much now that we know this though that we can find out. We just have to keep looking at it
yeah.
because it's all tied to that red letter text, every bit of it.
Yes, that's where I start with everything. I mean, that's pretty much what I focus on now is the red letter.
He said heaven and earth would pass away, but his words would never die or never unalive or whatever. I better not say that
Yeah.
right. And get my own live
Yeah.
kicked.
You can't even read the Bible.
I know. When I
I
was sitting there
know.
this afternoon trying to get ready for this thing, I was like, oh wow, I got to be careful how I say this. It's like
Yeah, it's funny. I read your unaliving and how you switched it over. It's cute. But you're
I
right,
saw
you have
somebody
to.
else do that, and they were trying to keep their live from going down. So
Yeah.
I just know how bad that Old Testament used to bother me. Especially when I was little, I would read it and think, oh my gosh. But we were so indoctrinated though. I know we look forward to like the Ten Commandments coming on TV, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't see any of that as evil. But when you really look at those things that they were doing to the Egyptians, that's some pure bad. If that happened to us, we would be crying, and I mean, all your
Mm-hmm.
rivers turning to blood, and all the fish dying, and the locusts eating the
Yeah.
crops, and the
All the
livestock dying, or
firstborn. Yeah.
unaliving. I'm sorry, I'm going to do it
Uh,
again. Um, but it's just it's a lot to think about
It
because they
is.
turned it into a fairy tale type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. They've turned
Well,
everything in, like all the stories, the kids' stories, and it's like,
They did that with
everything was
Barabbas
real.
too. They
yeah,
did that.
Yeah.
my mom was trying to tell me when we were talking about this subject, and she was like, "No, telling me these things about Barabbas," and I'm like, "Hold on," I'm like, "I think that's from a movie that you saw back in the
Hmm.
'70s," and I told her, I said, "Just let me know when you find them verses." It's been 3 months now.
With Anthony Quinn. That was the
Yeah.
one with Anthony Quinn.
Yeah.
She was saying
Yeah.
things that they said about Barabbas, but it's not even in the Gospels at all. It's just something she saw in a
That's
movie.
why I
That's
stopped
why that
watching
stuff
The
is so
Chosen.
scary. Oh yeah, well
I stopped
they're
watching The
just pushing
Chosen.
Jesus is Jewish
Well,
so
I
hard in
didn't
that.
want anything else indoctrinated into me, when I wasn't quite sure about stuff. So I just like, nope, not watching that.
One of the
So,
verses in John literally says that he's speaking to those thinking him Jewish. It
yeah,
he says that in the Greek, and I'm like, okay, I was right. I wasn't losing my mind. you know?
no, you're not losing your mind.
They
No.
got so much propaganda in that show. They're it just all the big YouTube channels, all the big everything is just pushing Jesus is Jewish
They're
Yeah, and
pushing the
everywhere.
Christ word.
they're turning
Yeah,
all
that too. They
the
don't even use Jesus anymore.
No, they've
turning the
dropped it.
believers into messianics because they don't
Yeah.
want them to be claiming him as divine, as God.
Hmm.
You know, and
They
that's
want him to
gonna
be more
be
like how Muslims are about him.
that's gonna be the cutoff place. People don't realize it's coming. It's coming real fast.
It's
It's
coming. Yeah.
it's like those Noahide laws. The first one even mentions Jesus. If you claim that he is divine, you're gonna be unalived.
Yeah.
And they're teaching our kids that in the schools.
Yeah.
I tell you that I would homeschool a child if I had a child right now, a little one.
Hmm. Well, I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that Jessica's taking Bella out. Just get her out of school.
Yeah, if you and Pauline get together, Nathan, you ought to consider that doing the homeschooling thing instead of putting her in a school.
Right.
Absolutely.
I
The
I
thing
think
about
she's in here
homeschooling.
actually. I think she's
Oh,
Oh,
is Pauline in here?
I think so, yeah.
does she have
Yeah.
enough
Well,
followers for me to invite her up, or?
I don't think so.
Sally said she didn't have enough followers, and she came in.
Invite her up, I guess. Let's see.
Let me
It's
see
the
what name is she
Pralinka
under.
Pralinka
Okay,
Paulina.
there we go. Oh, it didn't go through. Let me try it again. There. I'm so new
Yeah,
to all
Sally said
this.
she said she has 0 followers, and she came in.
That's
I
why
think it's
yeah,
whoever has the
I guess
live.
they
Whoever
changed it,
has the
huh?
live.
yeah. I tried and tried to get on lives and couldn't for a long time, and I finally just said, "Well,
Oh, really?
I gotta get the followers." So I just was like doing
Yeah.
everything I could to get them, and
Hmm.
now I have 2 accounts in case this one gets banded or something.
Yeah. Sally says she has maybe 1 or 2.
Well, I'm glad you were able to come up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if anybody in that's listening has questions, but if they do, we'll be glad to call them up and try to answer their questions if they do.
Oops.
I don't know. We were up to what 14K on my painting live, and still only had like 3 viewers, didn't we, Eileen?
Yeah, yeah,
That was pretty sad.
yeah.
I feel like I've been shadow banned on every format.
And like, who knows, right? We don't know. We don't know what they're banning. We don't know what they're looking for.
No, I haven't.
And you are speaking truth, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be interesting to see what's going to happen to this one.
can y'all see how many people we have in here? I have a hard time figuring
It
it
says
out.
7 for me. It just says 7.
Huh. I don't
It's
even know where
all
the button
the
is to see that. You know,
very top right-hand corner.
oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah. What do you have there?
I'm showing
Yeah.
6.
Bella said 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bella, did you want to
Yeah.
come
But
up?
I don't even know how to. I don't think I can invite anyone.
Bella, do you want to be invited up to speak? She
just
might.
send her an invite and she can refuse it if she wants to.
Yeah. Let me pull that up. Okay, I gotta remember how I did that. I'm learning. There we go. Learning how to control do these controls. It's not very user friendly, actually.
Well, it's all new, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Bella.
Hold
She's
on.
in there. There she is.
Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah. Did you catch
Yeah.
most of the live? Did you like it?
Yeah, I tried to send a request to join, but it said that you were full. You had to add me.
Huh.
Yeah, there's not a
That's
little
weird.
request box.
Oh, that's weird. I wonder if I didn't turn a control on or setting or something.
Like it said that you had a limit or something.
Let's see.
Where it says multi down there.
Settings.
Well, you were trying to make sure that you didn't have some of the
No,
ones that are
I don't see
disruptive.
any place to mark that. That's weird.
So how have you been, Bella?
I'm really good. Let me turn my fan off 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. How are you guys doing?
Good. Good. We're just trying to get this whole live thing going. We think it's time to get out there and start speaking.
I hope it works.
There it goes. Now it's letting you add more people.
Yeah.
There's Paulina.
Oh, there's Paulina.
Yeah, I invited her a
Hi,
while ago.
Paulina.
I think she just got. Hey, Paulina.
Hello, everyone. Something went wrong. I don't know. I had to go to my settings and maybe allow the microphone or something.
All right.
I couldn't accept before. Anyway.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Finished
Good,
work
good.
late and just had the
What time is
pleasure
it there?
Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock.
I
Oh,
was gonna
wow.
say. Yeah. Bedtime. Past bedtime.
Yeah, true. I'm used to that anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody got any specific topic they want to talk about? Questions? Were you here for the whole live, Bella? Or, Bella and Paulina?
I was, yes.
Oh, good, good. I didn't see you come in. I didn't even see your name pop up. I don't have it on here at all.
I'm actually quite new on the TikTok. I don't use it as much. I came across this before. I don't remember whether this was post by Golan or maybe another video. So it wasn't new for me. I knew about this sacrifice. Yeah, just like Sally said. Yeah, I mean,
So you knew about it? You said you knew about it?
Yes, I knew from
Yeah, okay.
one of the videos
Yeah,
or
I think I
posts.
put it in the one about who's the real father. I think there's a little bit about it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe Jesus was sacrificed, though.
Tell us how you figure that, Bella.
Well, if you translate everything that Jesus said on the cross and you get to where the robber asks him about the paradise, being in paradise with him, and you look up paradise, it translates to garden. And Yahweh created the garden, our Father didn't. That's not his kingdom. Father's kingdom is spiritual, it can't be seen without observation. It comes by spirit.
My dad's getting to this point too, where he's kind of asking that same sort of thing, but he's only been about it for a month or so. And I wish he would have come in here too, because I wanted to ask him what he was thinking about that now. There's another thing though that I was going to ask about the crucifixion. There was another thing that somebody had brought up to me, and I totally forgot it now. It's not that part. I never even looked that part up though with the garden part, but
The other part is when he cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" People think that he's quoting
Right,
Psalm
right.
22, but why would our Jesus on a cross cry out, my God, when he himself is our Father in the flesh and he wouldn't forsake us? And the thing
Right,
is,
I've thought about that.
Well, I
Yahweh
think that's the
sifted
Christ,
James
is
the
it not?
just. Yahweh sifted James the just. He abandoned him on the cross and let him die.
Right,
But
Yahweh
he didn't
sifts
die.
people.
They gave him a concoction of myrrh. When you translate all that too and you look it all up, you'll
But that
discover
doesn't
that.
mean that, that doesn't mean that, I mean, what about the idea of having the two Jesuses on the cross?
That's
Do
floated
you know what I mean?
by
There was
too.
three of them.
That floated
That's
by
what I
too
would think it
until
is.
Goloff translated. I still think she's right about the sons of thunder being on the right and left of him.
Okay. But the Sons of Thunder is, okay, so that's not James the Just then.
No.
But then we have the historical accounts of him being in Rome, like several years later.
Yeah, because James didn't die. They gave him a concoction mixed with
Yeah, because
myrrh.
I thought about that because what Jews are going to touch a dead body on Sabbath, and
They
unless
gave
he
him
wasn't
catnip.
dead.
They gave him catnip and hyssop and the anise hyssop. All when you mix all that, it's like putting you in a coma. That's why he passed out on the cross and they pierced his side. The other ones they broke at their knees because they weren't dead yet.
Well, when they pierced somebody and it said water and blood come out,
Yeah, he's still
that would be a post-mortem thing. That would be like
pretty close to dying.
you'd have to be dead for that to happen.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure.
Because fluid builds up in the abdomen after death, and it
It
gets
builds up when you're suffocating.
Yeah, I guess it could because the pulmonary arteries could do that. Yeah, because I always think in medical terms, being a nurse, it's like, and what I saw when patients died or unalived. I'm sorry.
And they suffocate though just being there in general because they can't. They have to try to push up to get
Pull
lung
themselves up
or
to breathe.
to
Yeah.
breathe. Right, I've always heard that. Yeah,
And then when you figure out how the cross is all entangled in with Freemasonry and the Jesuit order, and you
right,
take a cross and make one out of paper, and then I want you to fold it all up. It makes a cube.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Paulina that when I was visiting her.
So it's all like idolatry, you know?
I know.
I mean, this is just my belief. This is something that Abba put on my heart, and I don't feel our Father had to die to save us. He came to bring us the truth.
I do think that too. I don't think that he had to die, but
I don't think he could have died, you know?
That's true too. I think they would have tried to do it if they could. I'm still like I'm undecided. I'm still conflicted. I think my dad thinks what you think though.
Like, I don't deny that Jesus couldn't have died for us. I
But
actually do
I
not
don't know.
deny it, but
I
I
don't,
don't think he did.
I don't know if they'd have killed James the Just because he was a high priest. According to all the Jewish writings, he was doing sacrifices in the temple, and he was a high
Yeah,
priest. He went in the
there.
Holy of Holies.
They beat them both, Goloff. They beat them both. Remember? They did beat them both. They arrested them both and beat them both. I think James got mixed up in the bunch with him, though. There's something that happened there
But
that they left out.
when you read Isaiah 53, it's like it said he would live to see his seed. It's like,
Yeah, and James had a whole bloodline.
yeah, but I mean,
Right.
but it indicates that it pleased him to bruise him, but then he would live to see his seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember.
My God, why did you forsake me? He wanted to know why Yahweh forsaked him on the cross. Why his father forsaked him. Does that make sense? He took him over and then he forsake him.
Yeah,
Yahweh did
something's
that.
an interpolation in there though, because one has, Father forgive them for they know not what they do. Then the other one has has him saying something totally opposite. It's,
which gospel's saying what?
Luke says that Father forgive them because they don't know what they do, and then
What
I
they're
think it was
doing, yeah.
Matthew that had the Aramaic.
Matthews tells
That's
it like
another
a
thing
news
too.
reporter.
When James the Just was being beaten with the bludgeoned to death, after he fell, after they threw him down from the pinnacle of the temple or whatever, and he didn't die and they beat him, he shouted out, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Yeah, and I've read that. That was in
Yeah.
their account of him of him being unalived.
So it's more proof of James,
And it makes sense that it was James the Just because all through the Old Testament, when he talks about his just one, the righteous one, you know. So
Yeah, it was like you solved it and figured it out, but just didn't see it. Like with all your stuff and all your note cards, I'm like, she's got it right here, but she don't see it. It's right here again. She don't see it. Holy smokes, it's right here. She don't see it. What is going on? You know what I mean?
How
um,
about
I'd have to research it some more because I still have a funny feeling that because like that verse that said it didn't come to abolish the law but to fulfill it. It's like it doesn't say fulfill in there. It says to pay for you.
I've been real conflicted with it lately because I'm like, okay, well, if the Christ is saying that, then. And sorry, Paulina, were you trying to say something? I heard you try to say
Yeah.
something.
I was trying to say, how about that psalm? I don't remember which one it was, but I remember where it was saying that the Lord had mercy on him and prolonged his days. Do you remember? That was
That's Psalm 104, I think.
possibly. Uh, it was saying in one of the psalms that I understood it was about the Jesus Christ, that he was saved. The Lord had mercy on him and he prolonged his days, and Jesus Barabbas was taken in his place.
Because I don't think it had anything like Paul said to do with sin, like the unaliving. I don't think it had to do with the sin. I think it was a demand from Yahweh.
Right.
I'll have to look into it some more and see, because there's a thing on James's name. What is he called? I'd have to pull up the card, but it means that taken in exchange, like it's in my video, but it's about being in exchange for. There's just a lot involved in looking at all these words.
I know, that's why I don't jump to conclusions, but I just want to know as much as I can. I don't want to.
Yeah, I want the truth. Whether I'm right or wrong in that video is irrelevant, because I would go back and put an addendum on it if I'm wrong. But I'd like to know the truth. Let me pull that card.
It does make sense though. Like, when Jesus said that he can lay down his life and take it up whenever he wanted, basically.
Right.
That
he can lay his life. The what is it? The greatest something do. Well, yeah, for a friend.
But he can. Yeah, but he can lay his life down and take it up. So unless he allowed them to think that he was dead, because he obviously isn't dead, they couldn't kill him. It might have been an act of allowing them to go through the ritual of doing it, hanging him on a cross, but I don't think he died. I don't know.
And then we have the two at the end where one says, "Oh, don't touch me," and then the other one's letting them put their hand in his side and stuff. So it just, that's two totally different things.
Yeah, and I do not think that it was Barabbas that said, why are you forsaking me? I think that was the Christ, because I don't think he knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew everything beforehand. So, and he is. Yeah,
that phrase is so weird to me. It's always been strange to me. And they put it in the movies, and they really focus on that. Mm-hmm. It's even in one of those famous rock songs too.
Is it?
Yeah, that one band that was popular when I was growing up. I remember it was their famous song, and in that song they quote that part of it. It's really strange.
But the ransom, and being that it was being paid
pretty
for.
Sure that's the Christ saying that. Because if you look at the verses prior to it, oh gosh, Bluey.
Okay, but we're prisoners here. We're prisoners here. How do we get out?
Right,
I know it's if he didn't pay the ransom, kind of thing. If you know what I mean.
To Yahweh.
Well, yeah, to Yahweh.
Yeah.
Home by your belief system, who you believe in. Who's your father? Jesus.
Not Yahweh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus said. Believe, I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6. He is the only way to the truth into the everlasting life is through Jesus. Because he's the Father. Does that make sense? So when
That's what I believe.
Yeah, when you believe in the right Father, that's all it takes. It's grace by faith is what saves you. He came to bring us the truth, to save us, to tell us the truth about who our Father was. That's why he said in John 8:44, you are of your father, the devil. He knew who they were following, who they believed in. That's why he told the others, you've been with me this long and you didn't realize that if you see me, you see the Father.
Right.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor, do for others. When you do for others, you're doing for him. He wants you to make the best of what you can while you're here in the meantime, but endure to the end, do what you need to do, but keep your eyes focused on him,
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need to go up there and bleed to death on a cross to save us. What sins did we commit that we needed to be saved from? when he told us, repent and sin no more, before he even died. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking up, Golanov?
I'm trying to get this dog off me.
Is it a big dog?
No, she's just a
Oh, it's a blue nose pit bull.
55-pound
That's right.
meatball.
Yeah, blue nose pit bull. They're pretty big. Yeah.
Little ham. I want to go sit outside because I think it feels a little better out there, and the dog's driving me crazy, so I'll let her out.
What have you got on the screen there, Golanov?
Oh, can you hear me?
James is the what? Yeah.
Babs, it looks like Babs joined through the
Yeah, I
invite that
saw that.
Oh,
I sent her
good.
one.
I was going to see if she wanted to come up, if she was there.
She's here.
There she is. Okay, let me see if she shows up now. Or I can invite her up if she wants to come up.
She's grounded, she says.
Oh, she can't come up. Okay, now I see it.
She's
Now I
grounded.
understand. I'm sorry,
Poor
Babs.
girl.
I
in
had
the
you up
naughty
to
corner.
visit on my live. You know, we spent the night talking about human sacrifice in the Old Testament, trying to wake people up to what's really in the Old Testament. And we were just talking around, kicking around, talking things over.
Yeah. What have you got pulled up on the screen? James. What have you
Yeah, I
got
heard
there
about
going?
it. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's sad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that word that I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's like it says that he's the son of our faces, but actually our faces, that son of is not in the text in Greek, and it means exchange or changeling, which was strange. And they said it means to bring in, to yield a price, to exchange or exchange even to the cross. That's why I was thinking there was an
Okay.
exchange. That was another reason.
Well, that word, the changeling,
Uh-huh.
when I was growing up, there was a movie called The Changeling, and it was I'm not going to get this straight, but I mean, I was a child, but it always bothered me, and I still think about it today, where there were two boys, and they switched them. This was the priests and the pope or something, and they switched the children. They killed the one and they put the other child in, and it was called the changeling, but it was all religious based, and
Yep, I remember that one.
do you remember that?
Yep, I sure
It was
do.
a weird movie. Yeah, kind of reminds me of this.
Well, which one of the Jesus said that he'll lay his life down and he'll take it back up again?
I'm assuming that was Barabbas.
That's what I've
Because I don't
assumed,
think-
but
Yeah, that's what I
I don't
think.
think that.
I think it
Don't
was the
think
Christ.
Jesus the Christ could do. Now, what makes you think that though?
Keep on reading what he says.
Yeah, I gotta go in back to the verses myself too. Do you know which
Read
one
what
it
he
is? 'Cause I
says,
was
because
gonna.
he says, as my father commanded me. Who's his father?
But Barabbas called father. Like he called it.
Right,
He prayed to
but-
his father.
But when does he say anywhere else that his father commands him? Compare those.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I'm open to it either way because I know what the truth is.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because they focus so hard on that trial and everything. It's like the end of the story, like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like, and there's just so many sketchy things about it. It's like, why are they covering his face? Why do they have to put a sign above his head? Why, it's like, doesn't everybody already know who it is and what's going on? And then, the crowd's obviously shouting Bar Abba because that's who was following him. So that part makes sense to me, which before, with my prior knowledge, that never made any sense. Like, wow, how does this crowd even know who this random person is? Some random robber or whatever, and they're all shouting for him. That never made sense.
Mhm.
I don't know. Why were they doing all those things? Why were they dressing him? What don't they put
Like a king. Yeah.
yeah, and then they put the thorns on his head and
Hmm.
I want to know. I want to go back and read a lot of this, and I haven't gone back and read anything in honestly quite a while. It's been at least 3-4 months since I've gone back and tried to read the just the different gospels, the crucifixion, and I know that it's written differently in different ones. Like Matthew, I I only really like Matthew because he's kind of telling it like, okay, these are the facts. This is how it is. It reminds me of like a news reporter, whereas
Hmm.
John is this more. It's just more truthful. So I do kind of take whatever's in John a little bit more serious, more credible to me, anyways.
They're definitely trying to discredit him right now.
You know, and Bella. Oh, she's not here. She's got the coffee mug.
She's there.
I'm here.
I was just going to ask you what other things you could have me look up, or I just am wanting to read some and see if I can't try to go through it too and see if I see something, and then I could bring it to the table.
I think I'm trying to remember off bat. I think in Isaiah 44 I found more James the Just too. I think
Right.
I'm trying to remember.
I gotta mute myself just 1 second. At this point, though, for me, I'd like to know, but at the same time, I'm still just whether he did or didn't. I still, at least, I know the truth. I can tell the difference. I can see through a lot of the lies. But man, yeah, there's something that doesn't sit right with me about them trying to just always make him this blood sacrifice and this. And it just sounds like the whole. Because you go into these cathedrals and things like I saw over in the UK, and it's just they're so hyper focused on that part of it. That it's like the ritual and the um,
That's
just
true.
like Yahweh. It's just oh gosh,
But
like I
think
hate
about what
it.
their whole intent of dragging him down there was to unalive him. Because it said in Matthew 27:1, when morning came, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel together against Jesus to put him to unalivement. And they bound him and led him away and delivered him over to Pilate, the governor. So their whole thing was to get him out of there completely gone. You know. That
Yeah,
makes, you
yeah.
see what I'm
And
saying?
I get what you're saying.
I think after they got James the Just down, I think the real Jesus is who healed him. But that's just between me talking to Abba, if that makes sense.
But, I mean,
Oh,
the crowds were crying for the real one to be let go. But
It
would
says they
they
let
have
him
really
go,
let
though,
that
right?
happen? Is what I'm saying.
I don't think the Jews would have let it happen. Not with how much influence he was already
And
gaining. I mean,
what's
they
to
were
say they didn't
clearly
look
trying to
alike?
stop it. They could. They could have.
I
The
read
one
this.
Jesus went on the mountain, he transformed, remember?
Or what if he just appeared
That's
and
what my dad
disappeared
was
the way
saying.
he,
Yeah, that's what my dad was saying. How he disappeared.
you know,
He's like,
because
because he vanished and
yeah, he went the same way he came. He, you know,
right.
so
It's a heck of a lot to consider when you start looking
it
at the
is.
text, because it's like
Yeah.
this is what I read to Iman after you left last night. Listen to this. This comes from my video, but it's like, where were all Jesus supporters? Where were the crowds that traveled long distances to see him, or even just the local fans? Where were the apostles? Where was the blind man saying, "Free Jesus, for I was blind and now I see"? Where was the deaf man, the lame man, Jesus' mother and brothers, the centurion whose daughter was healed, the bleeding woman, Mary Magdalene? Where was the father whose son was possessed? Where was Lazarus saying, "Free Jesus, for I was dead and I was unalived and Jesus made me live again"? I'm gonna get busted here. Where was Zacharias saying, "Free Jesus, for I was short and nerdy and a tree climber and Jesus hung out with me anyway"? Where were the large crowds that spread cloaks and palm trees and sang as he entered Jerusalem? Where were the droves that were healed, or the thousands that were fed? Where are the legions of the sick crying out, "Free Jesus, so that we too might be healed"? Where were all these people if the crowds always gathered around him, the one they called the Christ? Why did they all of a sudden want to kill the Christ, unalive the Christ one, and free the one called Barabbas? I mean, that's a lot to think about when you.
I think they let, yeah, like it's, you know, it
I
sounds
gotta
like the
change these
people
cards to unalive, or I'm gonna get busted because I'm so.
yeah,
It's like
wanted Barabbas set
So
free.
hard. It's so hard because there's so much of that happening in what we talk about. So it's.
Hmm. I think they wanted Barabbas free, that's why they were yelling Barabbas.
But would they
I
have
think
let
those
that
people,
happen, or did Herod and Pilate go in the back and
well,
make this
right,
deal?
yeah,
It's like, because that was weird. They became friends all of a sudden after this.
yeah.
Most people are like, I wasn't aware for forever until this year that Pilate was actually was Jewish and was a king of Israel, and it's in the
Sat on the
text.
judgment seat. Yeah.
Yeah, and in Acts it tells you that he and Herod both were kings of Israel, and that makes sense when you look at Daniel, because the king from the north and the king from the south sit down together, and you know, so that makes sense from that aspect too. Who's wanting to come up? Somebody wanting to come up? Mama Lori? See who this is.
Hello. Hey, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Can you hear us? Or
Yes, I
you
can
got
hear
a-
you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, Lori.
Hey,
I hope you're enjoying the live. I hope it's. Have you been here very long?
um, I don't know, about 10 minutes.
Oh no, you missed a lot. I spent the first part of it talking about human sacrifice in the Old Testament.
I came in on the tail end of that. And I was aware.
I just.
Bella?
People just aren't. We're trying to let them know.
Yeah.
Bella, what if, this is just something that just popped into my head, but what if they're calling for Barabbas, and like Golunov said, that the Jews wouldn't let him go, but like we were just saying, that Jesus, Barabbas can disappear. And then they needed to put someone in that place because they had to get rid of someone because that's their kind of ritual. So James the Just was put in instead. And then,
Yeah, it
like you
fulfills the
said, Bella, that
scapegoat
Jesus
prophecy.
Barabbas healed James the Just.
Mm-hmm.
The Christ
Like, I'm
couldn't
just
have
trying to put
passed
together what
there,
everybody
though.
was saying, right?
What's
was
that?
The Christ couldn't have passed there, though, because he's just there's historical statements of him being seen later, and
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I
that's
mean, like
why.
that he didn't
But I mean, they
die
could have put him up
because,
there. Yeah, yeah. Could have not
There's
died, or
proof he
could have
didn't
not
die.
unalived.
yeah,
Golan has to. Golan's got to translate about the myrrh because there's proof of it. And when you look to see what the concoction was made of, it was a hyssop. And when you know medicine and apothecary like that, and the hyssop,
Yeah,
I grow in my
I believe you. I
backyard.
believe you.
You've got to be really careful with that catnip. If you drink a real strong steep of that catnip, it's like, okay, it makes cats go nuts, but it'll make your dog pass out. Does that make sense? It'll make you sleep. So if you take enough of it, it'll make you pass out. And I'm thinking when they put the gall, when you research all that, the gall and the myrrh and the wine, and they mixed it up and put it on the sponge, and he says, I thirst. And they gave him that. I'm pretty sure that's how he got. And then, Joseph of Arimathea had some money, and he went in there and made arrangements to get him down. And then it was after dark on Sabbath that they took him down. So they're not supposed to be touching a dead body on top of it because then they're unclean for Sabbath. So when you look it up and you look through there, the high priests couldn't even take Sabbath that day after supposedly Jesus crucified. Ask
Well,
yourself why.
yeah,
What did they do? They had blood on their hands. But why? Is it because they punched him, spit on him, ripped his beard? I mean, our Jesus had this done to him too. But you guys are forgetting both of those Jesuses were called. If they spoke in Aramaic, they called him either Yeshua bar Abba, both of them. One was called the Christ. So it would be like, do you want to crucify Jesus bar Abba or Jesus bar Abba known as the Christ? That's how they were announced. Look it up in that Ancho volume. It's in there.
yeah. We get that, but what are you like? I'm trying to understand what this is like. The point of that is like like you said, we don't understand. There was two. I'm trying to figure out where you're going with that because
No, she's just saying that the way that they would announce the titles there would be somewhat similar.
Right.
They were both
from that
named
volume.
Jesus.
yes,
They were
I know
both
that.
called
Yeah,
Jesus, yeah.
yeah.
And why
Yeah.
James Just was called Jesus, I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they just insert. I think they just started calling him that at that moment,
Or they changed it up in the transcripts,
or
Didn't it?
that.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the other
or
thing,
that.
right? What else? They've changed so much. So
I haven't analyzed this, but John 12, where it says, "Now the judgment of the world, now shall the prince of this world be cast out, and if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all unto me." And then he said, signifying what unalivement he should unalive. The people answered, "We have heard out of the law of that Christ abideth forever. How say thouest that the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is the Son of Man?"
well, I think the Son of Man is Jesus Christ.
I thought that too, but that's reading kind of opposite. That's weird.
Yeah, James Just. Personally, I think that the Son of Man and the Christ is all Yahweh. That's
And
the
then,
jumping
yeah,
around.
the next verse says, "Then Jesus said to them, Yet a little while is the light with you." And he's talking about himself. "Walk while you have the light, lest the darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goes." And that darkness, I think he's talking about Yahweh. Because Yahweh said he'd dwell in thick darkness.
Yep.
At the trial though, where they're trying to say, are you the Christ? Are you the Christ? And he's like, you've said so. But then he says, but you will see the Son of Man. But it's like, why would he refer to himself in the third person?
That doesn't make any sense to
It doesn't
me.
make sense to me. Like,
Why would
yeah,
he
okay,
call
you're gonna
himself
see
the Son of Man?
Yeah, because that indicates a son of a man, not a.
Right, right.
Yeah. In half the verses, he does that in third person, then the others he doesn't. It's like he's talking to somebody else.
Okay, so it's happened. That's what I wanted to know. It's so confusing.
Well, it's meant to be.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, they made that whole interaction happen in there is so strange. There's a lot of yeah, it's just very confusing things happening, conflicting things too, contradicting things.
Mhm.
I really want
I just want to know how if our
Go
Jesus
ahead, go ahead.
is the light and he's the life of the world, in him is the life, why would he take his life? Why would he allow somebody to bring darkness and death upon him when he's the life? It makes no sense. That's the part I don't understand.
When he enters Yahweh's realm here, does it I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because he took on the flesh, but he can come and go as he pleases,
Right.
He
That's
descended
true.
from heaven, or I don't want to say heaven, but he descended from his kingdom, his spiritual kingdom, into hell, because this is a layer of hell, and he was in hell for how many days, to bring the good news and the truth. I mean, it's even in the Apostles' Creed, if you've ever read that. That's another, Gnostic text. But if you've read that, they even document that Jesus admitted to descending from his kingdom into a level of hell to bring the truth and to save people. It doesn't say anywhere that he had to die. It says the Christ had to die.
And we've
Yeah,
come to believe this is hell. So
Yeah,
that kind
because
of
he
makes
said
sense.
this is kato in Greek, and that means the underworld. He said you're from below. The word used was kato. It means
Yeah.
underworld, hell.
That makes sense.
It explained a lot for me because as a nurse, the suffering I saw is just like unreal.
Well, all you have to do is look around the world. It's just like, there's no way this isn't hell.
This is interesting because I have one friend from work. I showed him the Golan video about the Christ, and he believes it's not the true Jesus, and we agree on everything. And last time I saw him, he asked me about that, like who I believe that died on the cross, and because because everything makes so much sense, like what Golan Waya said in that video. And I remember that psalm. I don't remember which one, and it was saying that his life will be prolonged and so on. But he said to me that it doesn't he said oh, if we believe that the true Jesus died on the cross, that's the wrong one, and it didn't make sense to him.
This is something to really think about.
I don't know.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just thinking too, Bella, like what you said, Bella, about the seed, like that he would have a seed, that his life would be prolonged and have a seed. Well,
exactly.
James the Just, if Barabbas cured him or whatever and let him live, then and we all know that it says somewhere in some text that he lived 30 years or 40 years longer than the crucifixion. So he did have an extended life. And he probably did have his children and whatever. That's Jesus the Christ. Did that make any sense?
Yes. Yes. I know he was married and had a family. But I think she fled to France and hid because she thought he died.
Yeah, they all
Seen
scattered
later.
right afterwards. They,
Mhm.
And I think Matthew
Pretty
went with her.
interesting. Which Matthew? There's many. Which one?
Mateo, the original.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Especially if you think about when Mary Magdalene anointed Jesus's feet. Remember, Jesus told us, if I'm in the inner rooms, the secret chambers, the inner storefronts, that's what that all translates to, or in the wilderness, it's not me. Remember, he told us that? They say it's him,
Right.
it's not him. Okay. So when Jesus was, I think it was when they were sitting, I think with Lazarus, I don't remember offhand, and she comes in and she's got what was that expensive spice, and she takes it and she's anointing his feet and using her hair, or if it wasn't that, it was her tears, I can't remember. But Jewish women could not touch. If this was Jesus, like our Jesus would let her do it. Does that make sense? That's a different story.
No,
But if he's sitting
I
among,
think we think it's the Christ.
yeah, if he's sitting among Jewish men, she couldn't do that unless it was his wife. You understand that? So that's James the Just was married to Mary Magdalene. That rumor is true. Without a doubt, I know it is. And that's where his seed went. Because she fled to France. And that was her way of saying goodbye to him. She thought that he was dying, so she was preparing him, in other words, anointing him for goodbye, for his death.
Did she not see him later, or the account of?
She was there to pull him off the cross or whatever, but who knows what happened from there. They tell you one thing and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She had fled to France with Matthew. There was documentation of it. And then you have the Knights Templar that was protecting all them.
And John's the only one that lived out his life.
Yeah, supposedly.
Must be nice.
I don't think John wrote Revelation, though. I think Paul did.
Yeah.
I think John started it and then Paul added his 2 cents into it. It matches too much of the letter to the 7 churches,
Yeah, how he likes to write things, yeah.
it doesn't match his mission and him. It's like he would not come to save everybody and then come back and destroy them. It doesn't match.
No.
No, not at all. It's just something to think about, it's just something to research deeper in,
Yeah.
Thank you guys for all the likes and the gifts and stuff too. I was just sitting here
Oh,
looking. I was like,
wow,
because I hadn't
you're
even paid
blessed then.
attention.
You're welcome.
I was concentrating on this
Just
and wasn't
saw
paying
that.
attention to everything.
Yeah. We want this to be seen as much as we can.
Yeah, I would love for it to be seen a lot. I'm gonna upload this, I think, to YouTube too afterwards, and that way everybody can hear the discussions and what was said.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys came in.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to get off now. You guys have a good evening.
All
You
right,
too.
Take care, Bella.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye, Bella.
Bye.
I wanted that SRB guy to show up because he was so interested last night. But I haven't
See, Vince
seen
is
him
in
on.
here too. Vincent. Sorry, not Vince.
I invited Vincent to come up. I don't think he's accepted though.
Okay.
Yeah. He popped up in one of the little boxes, his face, and I figured he was trying to come up and talk, so I invited him.
Bella said she thinks he's working tonight.
Oh, okay.
And what have you been up to, Lori?
Oh, enjoying my retirement.
Are you retired? Good for you.
I know
When did
that's
you
right.
retire?
I've been retired for years.
Oh, okay. So you're just enjoying your retirement. Good for you. Me
You-
too.
Are you retired?
I retired in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. When they started doing all the 2020 stuff, I was running my own business, and all the masks and everything else, and just this it just drove me crazy. And I just said, you know what? I've been doing this for 30 years. It's time to close it down. So I did.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went on unemployment for like a year. And then when that ran out, I went back to work for a short period of time. And that's when my son was dying, so I quit and
Oh, I'm
retired.
sorry to hear that. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's one that got to be most hardest thing to deal with. I would imagine.
Yes.
I still haven't dealt with it completely.
No, it would be tough. I think it'd be long going.
Well, do y'all have anything you want to add, or do y'all want to call it for tonight, or?
Well, unless I mean, I think Nathan was hoping the other guy would pop in, but
Yeah, I
wish
was
he
too.
would, man. I wanted to talk to him so bad.
you don't know his
last-
handle or anything.
No, I do.
You could
It's
send him a link. Send him a link.
thing. I did, but he's not online. His name
Okay.
on here is SRB space 393.
Let me just
That
look
was
at it.
amazing last night. He was catching on to this fast.
I know. See
Oh,
you,
I think you
Paulina.
guys sent me the link for his name. I have his name actually. I actually added him. So today when you sent the name. Looks like Sally's gone. I think.
All right, and tell her
Yeah.
goodbye. No,
think she said something
she's
in here.
paused.
Well,
says
she
she's-
said she had
she's
to
still
leave,
here.
but she is still here. But I think she tried to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She says I got to jump off of here
Paulina
too.
had to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's so rare when you get somebody that jumps in that's like, I know what you're talking about, and they want to talk, and they're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's too bad that what's her name? Carrie couldn't come on, but she was driving. It's too bad. But she'll pop on the next time probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie gets all this. She was talking to us last night.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
commenting in the comments there. That's good. So anyway, yeah, if nobody else has anything to say, we can end this one and save it. Save it, Golanov.
Yeah. That
We
way,
got a few likes there.
it'll be short
good.
enough. I can upload it pretty easy. If they get too long,
What
it's
do the
hard to get
likes
them.
do, guys? What do the likes do?
Well, they're supposed to help push the live when you start, and when people are coming in, it's supposed to help push the live into other people's streams. So they say that that's what it's supposed to do, because she's got 10,000, 10.8.
Almost no. I'm giving her a 12. I was on here the other day when
Boost
she
the
was doing
ranking
her
to
art.
get more people. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the algorithm shows up on the feed of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's really,
Well, there
I
you
think
go.
it's when more people come in and a bunch of different people are liking that.
Maybe if
Yeah,
we
I
could get this
suppose-
on one night a week or 2 nights a week and have it where
Yeah, you
people
have
knew
to
we
start
were.
doing it more frequently, and then it'll gain more traction. When you only do it every
Yeah.
here and there, it's hard to. I think that's why even with Realize, it's like he gets people in there because he just always is online.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about that. I know that Belle is in gymnastics Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I know I have those 2 days for now. It's really hard because I just don't know when I feel like I love having her and everything, but I have her 4 days a week most of the time.
I wonder who else is in. I saw a bunch of people on live right now too. So
Oh, Bella says it boosts the rankings to get more people. Okay,
right, right.
good. All right. Well, here we go.
Thank you, Eileen. Bella's been hitting it too, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Just
great.
trying to get it. If it works,
Yeah.
I can sit here and do it the whole time.
Y'all hear my dog
That's what
snoring?
Yeah.
Laying in the chair snoring.
Yeah. I don't hear her snoring.
Oh,
She's a sweet baby.
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Very hyper, but very sweet.
Yeah. Nathan, where's your dad tonight?
I don't know. I tried to send him messages and send him texts. Probably out there in his shop.
I saw his
tinkering with
his
that
video
car.
of his drive there today.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
His TikTok video of his him in his car driving down a really super nice road.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, he's
It
probably
was nice. It was,
in that
yeah.
Model A. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's a funny guy. That's probably where I
Yeah.
get my humor from.
Yeah, it was cute.
He's
What
not
did
out
Bella
there.
say here? He's in the garden. What'd she
He's out in
say?
the garden. Maybe he's not.
Oh, he's out in
It's
the
too
garden.
late. It's too late for him to be in the garden.
Yeah. Is he a good gardener?
Well, everybody, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for
Gloria, it's good
having
to
me.
have you on.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
absolutely.
Anytime.
Take care. Bella's laughing.
Okay.
Is she laughing at the
Thank you.
garden?
You too.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody being in the garden, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
My dad.
Yeah.
He's a pretty decent gardener. Yeah. Knows more than
Yeah.
me. He can grow things pretty well. He's been doing it a lot though.
We've had such a bad year this year for gardening, and there's a risk of frost, I think, tonight. It was down to 13 last night. So
Wow. I don't want to do
I
all
know.
that.
I just popped my easel when they left.
We're just looking at the artwork now.
Well, the artwork is good. Yeah, it's a great painting.
Thanks.
I haven't been back to the chickens yet because I haven't had time. I've been trying to print this stuff off. My son and I just bought a new printer tonight because my printer's driving me nuts. It'll literally spit out like a handful of papers in between the numbers.
Yeah.
So then I'm like messed up. And then, of course, the ink is crazy. This just doesn't, and it fades away easy. But it'll actually mix up the numbers.
But that so
My
she can
printer
see
will
the whole
mix up
thing.
So anyway, we're getting rid of that one, and
There you go.
yeah, it looks good.
You
Really
can
good.
see the whole thing. Thanks, Bella.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
You
one I've
finished
been
this-
working on.
you finished the top part. Looks good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I got another layer on the tree yet to go.
Bella's gonna buy it. She loves that one. It is super nice. Yeah, it's a big one too, Bella.
Yeah, it's 24 inches. That one's 24 inches round.
Yeah. Oh, that one's not as big as the other one, but it's still big. Bella loves to read.
I have one at go. I have a little sunflower painting from going on, and then I have her other painting in my house now.
Yeah. I have two of hers. I have the one of the brook and then the one of Belle.
Huh.
Yeah. She
That's
did
the
one of
only
my
artwork
granddaughter.
hanging in my house right now. I don't even have my own in here anymore.
You should put some of yours
Yeah.
up in there.
I did, but I got them sitting over there at my mom's thrift store, and then I'm gonna try to, because I'm waiting to try to get in this one gallery downtown, and
It was a great
hopefully.
idea to do prints.
I know, and I've been slacking on that because I've been trying to work in the shop, and then I'm just trying to do too many things. I'm juggling all this stuff. I'm driving a tow truck, then I'm a mechanic, then I want to be an artist one day. So, gotta make up my
And a father
mind.
here. And then you'll be a father here soon.
Golly, yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
adding all these things to my life. And then I want to do
yeah,
this TikTok stuff, and this means a lot to me. And
yeah. But I mean, if we stick to a couple days a week, and if we can like work around, a couple days a week, and stick to it, that'll work out good. I
Yeah,
mean,
because if
and if
people
it's a
realize we're
regular
gonna be
thing,
on, then they'll come on
yeah,
to listen to us if we have a set time,
yeah, yeah,
Because we can use any of the research slides we want to use if we want to do it like this, and maybe
exactly.
switch it up, like have one of y'all talk one time and then, you know,
Yeah,
me talk a
yeah.
time and
No,
then,
sounds good. Hmm.
because y'all know enough to do one too.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know.
well, it's like I've jumped in some lives, and I just start to try to say the simple things, the easy stuff from the beginning that we were
Hmm.
learning. And but then most of the times when I'm in a live like that, before I know it, here comes going on jumping in there. I'm like, it's 10:30
I
at
know
night.
she's.
She's gonna jump in
I
there with
I
know.
me.
wasn't gonna do that last night, but I saw you in there, and then I saw the way they were starting to talk, and I thought,
I know. I'm so glad you came in because I
she
was
might
getting
need you
ganged
might
up
need some
on.
backup there. It's
Yeah.
like
Every time I
They
see
were
her on,
coming
I
at
jump
me.
on too. Yeah, because
Everything I
even
was
if it's
saying
just in the
though,
comments.
yeah, that even helps because you're just then you can send us little notes and things to remind us of things maybe we're forgetting.
Yeah.
It, going on's helped me many times where I'm in a live and they won't even let her come up and she's sending me messages because she can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget
Yeah.
this, don't forget that. I'm like, oh, I did forget that.
Yeah.
It helps me
What
out a
is
lot.
Bella sending there? What is Bella sending
Hearts,
there? It's yeah, but is it the
gifts.
same ones that I'm sending, or is it different?
All
I
the
don't
gifts
know.
are
She says
different.
heart
So
puffs.
yeah, so the heart puffs are just little gifts and things. It's money.
Yeah, you have to put your credit card on there though. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my credit card on any of these apps.
I
Well,
didn't
I
even know if
shouldn't
I
say
put
that.
this in the right category tonight. I thought about that too.
What
I,
did you
I put it in
do? What
chat
did
and
you say?
interview. I couldn't decide. I was like, yeah.
Well, what's the other? What are the others?
There's all kinds of multiple choices when you set it up, and I just tried to
Okay.
pick one that sounded right. It's this is a learning curve right now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to even start one, so not at all. If you didn't send me the invite, I wouldn't have a clue.
I think another thing too though is that what helps a lot that I've been trying to do more. That's why I jump in the random lives to start talking because if people do like what you're saying, because you just never know who's listening. Almost every time I jump in a live, I at least get one or two people that start following me
Okay.
because you just don't know
Yeah.
who's listening. When you see that little counter up there and it says there's probably about 100 people in there. Though once it gets to a couple hundred people in a live, they're going to be real careful about what you say. If they disagree with you, they're trying to get you out of there quick. But the ones that are under 100, those are the ones where you're going to probably get people that are going to listen.
Yeah, I agree though, if you're in a live that people will add you because they've been doing that with me as well. I've been going into a lot of these lives and even if I'm not saying anything, they're just people following. So
yeah, yeah. If you go up there and talk though, and they like what you're saying, people will follow you. I've gotten a lot of followers just from talking in the lives. I don't even know half these people that follow me, but
Yeah, I
I
went
was
into
hoping that
Babs one
sometimes.
night and got a bunch of followers because of what I said. All these people started following me. I was like, oh, wow.
yeah.
not many people are saying this though. What we're talking about, it's a very small group of people, and then if I just don't hear people saying this on TikTok really at all. So when I
No,
last night having those two people jump in that are like, we know what you're talking about, that was just wild to me.
And a lot of people, if they do hear us saying this, they're going to want to come in and argue about it.
No
You
doubt.
know.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you're always going to get that.
I have some people on Instagram that are reading it and, messaging me, which is good. So, and if you post this on YouTube, then I can put that link on my Instagram. So,
Okay.
I mean, this is the first one, but,
Well, some of the
After
people I
this-
think on YouTube might come and listen and talk.
mhm,
Also, when they see this go up, it might make them interested in coming to,
that's right.
and participate. I tried to get them in Discord, but usually people don't take me up on it when I invite them.
Yeah, nobody. I've sent people invites too, and I haven't seen anybody come in. So, and it obviously would come through, and I would have to okay it, would I not?
Yeah, it'll come through and it should be leave a
Yeah.
little thing to check and accept and all that.
Right.
Well, guys, I guess I'm gonna call this for tonight, and then we'll try to do another
Yeah.
one.
I might try
I
to
think it
jump
went
in
pretty
somebody's
well,
live
honestly.
tonight.
I do too.
Yeah,
it
we
was
had a
good that
bunch of-
Bella and the girls jumped in, and
Thank everybody for
You know.
coming too. It's like I appreciate everybody
Yeah,
being
exactly.
here.
yeah.
I'll probably go listen to some
Good
other
to see you
lives.
in
I
here,
might
Bella.
jump in somewhere.
Yeah, I might do that too.
I'll
Huh?
let you,
Yeah,
well,
What'd you
you'll
say,
see
Allie?
me
You
if I-
guys are
if I-
diehards.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
well, we will. We'll do it.
Yeah, I know.
I still have the
Okay,
energy.
you guys
though.
have a good. What's that?
I said I still have the energy though. I'm
Well, now
definitely
that we've got
the
you
youngest one in
awake-
the group. Yeah,
Yeah, but you said that you got tired and you had to have a nap in the
yeah,
afternoon.
because I stayed up and then because it just once you come out of those lives, it's not like, all right, let's just go straight to sleep. It's hard to sleep
Yeah.
good after
Well, my
somebody just
age-
yelling at you and
My age is just starting to play those tricks on me where you get tired in the afternoon, where I never had that before. So I had to have my son get me a coffee.
Yeah, I do
Try to
that
keep
too.
you
I
awake.
get sleepy in the middle afternoon.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't
Well, you
like that
guys
at
have
all,
a
but
good
it is what it
night.
is.
I
You
love
too.
you guys.
I don't know how to get
Love
out of
you
here,
too.
so
you
I guess
hit
just click
left,
the X.
swipe to the left, and then it'll say leave
Swipe to the
live, and you
left.
hit and then it says leave live, and you hit confirm.
Okay. Love you guys.
Alright.
Talk to you later.
Love you too.
Bye.
But